The School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts is a collection of different kinds of programs and departments that strive to do a number of things for both research and for teaching in the Central Valley region. It's increasingly clear that the world is flat, you might describe it. That is, even though it's easier than ever to get around the world, that things move around the world much faster, information, people, commodities of all different kinds, we still have to have some understanding of cultural diversity, of intellectual diversity, of different kinds of the way in which other people live. And so the social sciences and humanities and arts provide us with the tools by which we can really begin to understand other cultures. We can begin to understand our own culture in a deeper fashion as well, so that we can really begin then to think about how we might use that information to solve very pressing problems. My name is Mark Aldendorfer. I'm the Dean of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts here at UC Merced. We have a number of world-class faculty on the campus of UC Merced. We have people who are experts in their fields in a variety of different ways. They love their research, they do outstanding research, and they're also outstanding teachers as well.
My research has to do with making computer models of brain function, with a special focus on the role that the brain plays in learning and memory. And cognitive science is a new field, a new modern interdisciplinary study of the mind.
My research is on 16th and 17th century England. I'm interested in issues of hierarchy and order. So I've looked at issues of gender and class, and I've also looked at the development of the English Empire in the course of the 17th century and done some research on the Caribbean and the emergence of slavery. There are two emphasis tracks in the history major. There's U.S. history and there's world history. And what's unique about our history major is that we incorporate studies of the arts into the history major because we really want to emphasize the ways in which history studies all aspects of human activity.
I'm a U.S. history major. I was interested in museums and what happened behind the scenes. The degree in history is one of the primary ways that you get into museum studies, especially if you like history museums. It's good to have that history background, and that leads into my post-baccalaureate plans, which I'm going to go to San Francisco State for a master's in museum studies.
I work on medieval China, and in particular I'm interested in the way that geography and history are connected to each other.
I'm a history major with a U.S. concentration and a psychology minor. I chose psychology as a minor because decisions were made in the past in history, and there's a specific thought that went behind it. I'm part of the McNair Scholars Program, and one of those requests is that we apply to graduate school and work until we get a PhD. Eventually, I want to be a college professor.
I am a clinical psychologist by training. I got my PhD in 1978. I investigate how do we know what works in society. We're particularly good here in three things. We're particularly good in health psychology, developmental psychology, especially with infants, children, and young adolescents. And then there's my field of quantitative psychology.
I'm a first-year graduate student in the Psychological Sciences Department of UC Merced.
Hello, my name is Virginia Adan-Lifante, and I'm the coordinator of the Foreign Language Program here at UC Merced. Currently, our students can take elementary and intermediate Japanese, Chinese, French, and Spanish courses. They also can take advanced Spanish and complete a minor in that language.
I teach Latin American literature and culture, as well as cultural studies and critical theory.
My dissertation research was in Brazil on maternal and child health and then couple formation. But here we offer cultural anthropology, medical anthropology, archaeology, and biological anthropology. That's a very broad and diverse program that's unusual nowadays.
I'm an anthropology major, minoring in public health. Once I graduate from UC Merced, I hope to go to graduate school and specialize in a cultural group that needs help within the public field and just building communication between doctors and special cultural interests.
Philosophy is about these fundamental questions. What is justice? What are rightness and wrongness? What is the mind? do we have free will? So there are these fundamental issues throughout all areas of academic inquiry that philosophy addresses. But what we do is we really try and bring sort of the latest results in those disciplines into our research. So it's not just sort of sitting and thinking about problems, but really actively engaging with other areas.
And, I teach in both the economics and management programs. My research looks at the development of the U.S. economy over the course of time. So in particular, I'm interested in how the political process influences the path of economic growth. And not only that, how economic growth influences political outcomes.
I'm an economics and political science double major here at Merced. I'm hoping to go to grad school and major in international relations, which the political science degree will also become very handy. I'm actually hoping to become a foreign service officer with the Department of State, and my field within that would be economics. So my economics major here is going to be very helpful.
My primary research interests are in the way that individual and collective identities are shaped and expressed through music, particularly popular music and traditional music. GASP is the Global Art Studies program, and it's an innovative transdisciplinary program in which students are required to take courses both in art history and in music studies.
My research is on urban sociology, urban inequality, social movements and protest, political sociology, and issues of race and ethnicity, and I look at the intersection of those things. So sociology is a major, if you want to think of it very simply, is the study of people and groups, and that can be races, ethnicities, genders, it can be a class, it can be roommates. But here at UC Merced, what we focus on are two branches of sociology in particular, inequality and social movements and protest, and more broadly political sociology.
And my research is on congressional politics, especially the United States Senate. So I study how and why parties affect policymaking in the Senate. And the sorts of tactics that they use to essentially get what they want out of the policy process. The way that the political science major is organized is that we have three primary tracks so that you can focus on U.S. politics, you can focus on comparative politics, and you can focus on international relations.
I'm currently an undergraduate at UC Merced. I have political science majors with political science major with Spanish and anthropology minors. Future plans would be to take political science and apply it to the legal field and eventually be able to take part in local politics.
And I think for undergrads, you have this ability to really get a very broad education and to get an understanding of how various disciplines are related to one another.